we have a very big rock star in the room right now.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Corgan is here.
What's happening?
Good morning.
We were just talking about Snoop Dogg, how Snoop Dogg is doing like a kids show thing.
Okay.
And how Snoop Dogg, you know, gangster rapper from back in the day, has really transcended pretty much every genre and is now doing kid show stuff.
Well, you know, in 6 Degrees of Separation, Tyrus, who's in the main event of NWA 74 here in St. Louis on the night of August 28th, was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard.
Oh, that's right.
Get out of here.
Tyrus has the big that
Yeah, Tyrus everyone knows from Fox News. He was arrested before he got into Fox, so.
Is that microphone, is the arm not working right?
You know what, I'll just do this. I'll be this guy.
Nah, we'll move you over. We'll get you a chair.
No, so don't worry, I'll wait till you go to a break, it's fine.
We ain't going to break. You're here. We're right into it. We're in it. We are. This is
caffeinated.
This is the show, Billy. This is the show right here. Let's move on to mic 3. Well, thanks for coming in. Last time we had you on the air, I don't know if you remember this, but we did a mystery guest. Where,
yeah, I just got out of therapy from that. My therapist was like, you know, it's okay that people don't know who you are, and
everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows. Yeah, and thank you for playing along.
Oh, it was great. You know, the gentleman mentioned on the way in, and I was like, I totally remember it. It seems like yesterday that we did that.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah.
Gosh,
and I was just recalling the first time I ever interviewed you was. Do you remember U2 played Irving Plaza in New York City?
Yes, I was there. Yeah.
I know you were there because I interviewed you there. I was tasked with being. I was in my early 20s. Working for K-Rock in New York City, and I was the guy with the microphone outside. Hey, Billy, what'd you think of the show? Yeah. You came out with Shirley Manson from Garbage.
Not a bad person to have on your arm.
No, right. And I just remember her being stunningly beautiful.
Shirley's the best, yeah.
And today is her birthday, by the way.
Oh, fantastic.
So in case you want to...
she's got to be, what, 39 years young?
Yep.
All of us are.
In case you want to text her and say, happy birthday.
That's that U2 gig that I saw. We're actually playing the Irving Plaza. They just announced it next month. That was the only time I've ever been to a small kind of gig, and I thought the band is too big for the gig.
Oh, you thought so?
U2, when they would play some of their biggest songs, it was almost like it was weird. It was like being in somebody's garage or something, you know, because their whole thing is so big.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember that show, and I remember going, I don't need to see them again because I saw them here. But because I've never seen a big U2 show before. I've never gone to one of the
you've never gone to the big ones?
No, I saw them at Irving Plaza.
Their music is perfect for a stadium. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's like perfect for a stadium. It's like the stars and...
Yeah, when they were at Bush, that's what people said. Like, I was a big U2 fan, but I saw them at Bush, and now it's like another level.
Yeah, it works. It's
like they're genetically engineered for the stadium.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, man.
I guess so.
I wish I was genetically engineered for
stadiums.
Yes.
Hey, what was the last stadium show you went to?
Actually, I think it might have been U2. They were doing the Joshua Tree tour.
Wow.
I think that was it, or either that or Rammstein.
The Rammstein's playing in Chicago.
I know. I'm probably going to go because I'm friends with Till a little bit.
Oh, can I go with you?
I'll ask Till.
I'll ask. He's tight on tickets, though. Just a heads up.
You might have to run pyro.
I will.
But you know, yeah, I saw Rammstein in like Cologne, Germany, or something in a stadium.
Wow.
I mean, dude, Rammstein in Germany is an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Rammstein, period, seeing them. That's the only band I've ever seen, ever, where they start the show with the lead singers on fire.
It's amazing. They're amazing. They really are. They're one of my favorite bands, and they're great guys too. So I'm happy to see their success. I mean, Rammstein started around early '90s. People forget they've had this kind of interesting long arc where they built that fan base, and now they're one of the biggest bands in the world. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think they're only doing a couple shows in the States. I think they're doing like regional shows.
Yeah,
and they're playing Soldier Field.
Oh yeah. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I've never played Soldier Field, so I've been asked to do like, you know, in between halftime type stuff.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that at 22 Degrees.
Oh, really? So the Smashing Pumpkins have been asked to play.
Oh
halftime?
Yeah, many times. You end up on a list somewhere where they ask you to play the parking lot of the playoff game and all that type of stuff. And
what would you think about ever being asked to do the Super Bowl? Be part
I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. Let's
just say hypothetically, somebody asked.
Well, let me be political for a second. I think the last 5-7 years you've seen that they've moved completely away from rock, and it's pop and lots of other stuff. It's the 4 guys and a guitar. I think that era has passed for the Super Bowl.
If the opportunity presented it though, and they went, "Hey, we are going to do this rock thing, and we're going to ask,"
I feel like we would get that. I would get one of these. Hey, you know, this big pop star's playing, and they'd like you to come out for 1 minute.
Yeah. That's
in the corner with a dunce cap on while you play your biggest song. And a bunch of dancers come over, you know, with the Zero shirts on or something. I
remember the Chili Peppers did that with, was it Bruno Mars?
I believe I was obliquely referring to that moment.
and they made a point to show their instruments were not plugged in.
That's right.
That was their decision, right?
11 seconds.
That was their decision, wasn't it? Like, didn't they say like, "Hey, that was a kind of a"?
I did. I will name drop for a second since we are talking about you too. I remember talking to Bono. Once when they were playing the Super Bowl, and he said it's the wildest thing because they give you like a time, like, okay, you have 14 minutes, and in 14 minutes you have to like load in the stage, get on stage, play your songs, and get off, like to the second. So that's why you see all that. Like they play like 1 minute, and then the thing happens, and because there's literally no time.
Yeah, here's 11 seconds to give it away, and that's it. Off the stage. Everything's timed. Yeah, everything's timed out to the side.
I would get like the world is a vampire,
and that's
they would just push me off. Like, somebody would shove me off.
Pumpkins, everybody.
Snoop would come up and just shove me off. In the crowd.
Let's get into NWA, which is why you're here. NWA Wrestling at the Chase. This will be the second year in a row for this. This is NWA 74.
Yeah, 2-night pay-per-view, Chase Park Plaza. We're the only wrestling company to let in there, which is amazing. So all credit to the Chase. And it's great to be back in St. Louis, lovely city, great people. And yeah, so we're just here to promote and get everybody hyped up for the show. So.
So during these NWA events, what is Billy Corgan doing?
Oh, I'm producing the shows. I'm in the truck.
Oh, wow. So you are hands-on. You ain't just sitting ringside.
Trust me, I would love to sit there with my arms crossed and judge the content. No, I'm in the truck calling everything with the director. And
wow.
It's intense, yeah.
Yeah, not just a pretty face ringside.
No, it's like I laugh because I got to pay for it, and then I got to produce it. You know? I don't get to sit in there and enjoy the show. You know what I mean? I'm basically watching on television like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean you're the owner and promoter, so this is
100%.
This is your deal.
Yeah, 100%.
I was reading though, because NWA is 74 years old. You don't have access to the archives.
Well, sort of. I've had access to the Houston library. Actually, I did try to acquire some of the rights or be able to use the St. Louis library, and I've just not been able to put those pieces together. I've asked repeatedly because we would love to promote the St. Louis era of the NWA, and there is a man who says, some people disagree with that, who says he controls or owns those rights. No matter how many conversations have I had with lawyers, it never sort of happens, which makes me think he may not own the rights the way he's put across that he owns rights. So wrestling's littered with that type of stuff.
So the St. Louis part of it would be the wrestling at the Chase from back in the day.
Yeah. There's like a website you can go to where you can buy like 14 DVDs of that footage. But who owns that footage? And it gets into copyright law. It's very boring for the morning, but basically anything not registered before like 1977 and continually registered, nobody has a claim on it. That's why you can go on YouTube and like watch movies that you should probably have to pay for because nobody's registered those copyright claims and they get to a certain number of years old and very convoluted. And
so with the history of wrestling, though, it was all fragmented. It was all very regional and individual owners. So the WWE, do they own a lot of that NWA footage?
In fact, I've even had conversations with them about buying the library that I control, which is NWA Houston. That just hasn't happened to this point. But yeah, they own like the old AWA out of Minnesota. They own the stuff out of Portland. They own the stuff out of Texas, and the Von Erichs. They own all that stuff.
And they're just sitting on that footage.
Oh, they have the network, and there's a lot of that stuff that's out there. And when they had their own network, a lot of people were very happy with it. And since they moved to Peacock, there's been a lot of criticism that the user interface is very poor.
It is.
If you're on Peacock and you type in like Andre the Giant, like you don't get what you think you would get like if you just search like YouTube. It's very convoluted. So they've been heavily criticized for that, the lack of interface there, because people like me want to jump on there and go, hey, I feel like watching some Andre the Giant today, and I literally can't find the matches. It's weird.
You got to search.
No, you got to kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah, you have
like
to go
Madison
like
Square Garden, 1973, August 2nd. It's like, I don't know any of that.
Yeah, who would know to search that?
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the rights are very bifurcated through the years, and you can imagine in 1977, no one was thinking about television
Look
rights.
up bifurcated, by the way. I don't know what that word means. This is morning radio, Billy.
I'll take it down a notch.
Dumb it down slightly for us. Come on. So over the past year or so, the WWE has been letting a lot of talent go, and they're going kind of to different places. NWA going to pick up some of these guys?
Oh, yeah, we love to pick up talent from other companies, particularly if they know how to work television, which, you know, is a particular skill set. You might be the greatest independent wrestler in the world. If you know how to work to the camera, it doesn't do us any good because you basically look at somebody's backside while they're wrestling. So, yeah, there's a lot of changes. Obviously, Vince McMahon has stepped down. Triple H has taken over. AEW's stepped up into the breach as well with, you know, he's spending a lot of money and throwing his weight around in the marketplace. So it's kind of considered a new golden age of wrestling. Basically, if you were a wrestling fan in the early 70s like I was, this is that all over again.
Oh, wow.
It's a mad scrum for the ball, which for a wrestling fan is fantastic.
Right.
Which is why I have some of the world-class talent I do, because they're not in other systems, they're in mine.
How are you finding new talent? Because here in St. Louis, there's a lot of great independent wrestlers.
We're working with Team Ambition. Team Ambition from St. Louis is actually in the Battle Royale for the U.S. Tag titles. David Richards is on the show, who lives in St. Louis. Angelina Love's also on the show, who lives in St. Louis. I think Davey's maybe even from St. Louis. It's all word of mouth. It's a rep-based thing. It's who trains you, who do you know, who has a good reputation, who can you trust.
Right.
There has to be a ton of trust amongst the wrestlers because it is a very, very dangerous thing. And so if they don't have that trust with one another, it gets very, very hard to get people to work together.
Yeah, and there are a lot of great wrestlers here in St. Louis, and it's a tough industry to break into.
I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah,
I'm happy to watch. Because you get people trying to throw around the F word, the fake word.
Yeah.
You see what comes through the curtain sometimes. I don't want to hear anything about fake.
Yeah, and because we've been around Glory Pro Wrestling, one of the independent groups around here, quite a bit, and man, their fans are passionate, passionate, and I love it. I love going to the events. What are people saying about bringing wrestling back to the chase? Do you have some of these old school guys going, here's Billy Corgan, rock star, just bastardizing what once was?
There's a crew here in St. Louis that kind of does the it'll never be better than it used to be. And that's like I heard the same stuff with the Pumpkins in the early days. Like, oh, it's never going to be better than the 70s. It's never going to be better than the 60s. Every generation wants their own version of that.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it's never going to be better than. They don't care. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for a lot of people in St. Louis, particularly under the age of 30, they don't know wrestling at the Chase.
They heard about it.
Yeah, but what does that mean? It's like Grandpa telling the story about how he used to walk 40 miles to school in the snow.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It's a nice story, but it doesn't mean anything. So for somebody to sit there and say, hey, wrestling Chase never be the same, I don't know about that. You're talking about an international pay-per-view. I'm bringing St. Louis to the whole world, right? Okay, so I don't want to hear anything about the old days. I love the old days. In fact, we got people coming in to talk about the old days. Barry Windham, J.J. Dillon, Baby Doll, and Tommy Rich, two former world heavyweight champions. So, look, here's what you learn in entertainment. It's about right now, right now, right now. So we're here right now. That's it. You love wrestling, you love the show, you love the history, you love the NWA. You just want to curious what we're doing. We're here right now, not tomorrow.
Well,
you know what I mean? Well, technically, we're out here tomorrow. But the point is, allegorically speaking, we're here tomorrow. The point is we're here. Like, we're here to celebrate. Like,
I don't think people understand how big of a fan you are. Maybe that's it. I mean, you've been a wrestling fan since you were, obviously, the 70s.
About 5 years old, yeah. Yeah, it's like a poor addiction that you can't get rid of, and you're not sure you want to get rid of it. You know what I mean? There's no AA for wrestling fans.
Has the music gotten in the way of wrestling, or wrestling gotten in the way of music at all?
Absolutely. Yeah, and when I first got into professional wrestling about 10 years ago, a lot of my fans were like, they thought I'd lost my mind for good, and I get these back when I read comments, people would write stuff like, why don't you just stick to music?
Oh, God.
And I'm like, some people like to garden,
you can do both.
It's okay if I have a hobby.
Yeah, you can do other things.
And 10 years later, it's not a hobby. I'm 60 to 80 hours a week on wrestling. I mean, it is full on. It's a full on business. And, I got 60 people coming into town just on the wrestling side. We'll have 120 NWA people in the building tomorrow.
Wow.
From office and talent.
Wow.
It's a lot of people to bring. The Chase loves that we're bringing a lot of business to the hotel. obviously bringing money to the local economy. I mean, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're putting out a little wrestling show and there's 20 guys and girls going to roll around and have a little fun. No, this is big deal.
It's a big deal. And then when we talked to you last time, I mean, as you mentioned, this is a full-time job for you. You're writing storylines. You're helping out every aspect of this. You've got, I mean, you're the owner.
Why don't you stick to music? Why don't you stick to music?
Well, you'll be sticking to music when you come back in, I think you're
November
here November
1st, I believe, is the show. Yeah, we're here.
I've declared that we're taking the next day off.
Oh, perfect.
Fantastic.
Because I think that's a Monday.
Yeah, if a show falls on a weeknight, 9 times out of 10, Rizz is not going.
Yeah, I hear
because we're up at 3 in the morning, 2:45.
Do you really get up that early for the show?
Yeah.
2:30.
Yeah, so he
sucks.
says when there's a band that comes to town that he's got to see, he declares we are off the
We're
next
taking
day.
the next day off.
Thanks for coming to town.
I love it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, even like Weird Al is here on Weird Al is
Sunday.
here on Sunday, and I love Weird Al, but I'm not taking the next day off. Sorry.
Weird Al had to call me once. That was an interesting conversation. Because he wanted to use one of my songs.
Oh,
For
yeah.
one of his things, you know what I mean?
And
it was actually a medley, I think.
What was that? I don't know. Scott, do you know what song?
It was a Bullet with Butterfly Wings, but it was part of a medley.
Oh, the polka,
Yeah,
the
the
polka
polka.
medley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, he knows his
Was
Weird
it in
Al.
honor? Or would you, how'd that conversation go?
You know, it's like, let me tell you a quick story. So I'm at a carnival, you know, and, you know, the classic Midway, the games and everything. And I see the thing where, you know, the clown is in the you know, you throw the ball and you dunk the clown. And so, you know, I used to play baseball. You know, I got a good arm. You know, so I get the ball, and I'm about to throw the thing, and the guy recognizes me. You know, you normally recognize it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But he's the clown with the microphone.
Hey, Billy Corgan.
He's like, your music sucks.
No, did he say
Oh,
that?
yeah, he totally went off on me. I hate you.
No way.
I hate you. Your music's terrible. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Oh,
not,
but he's a smack talker. He's supposed
no,
to
but
be
I'm
doing
saying it's
that.
a weird situation. I'm saying, so you're asking, is it an honor?
Oh.
It's like, I don't know. You know, is it a good thing or a bad thing that the clown recognizes me?
I don't know.
So true, and his end of the story, I did dunk the clown, and then he later sought me out, sopping wet, and said, "You know, I'm actually a fan. I hope you didn't hurt your feelings."
Listen, I've never written a song in my life, so I don't know what it's
You
like.
ever try it?
No.
It's an interesting exercise. You should try it.
I don't know what I
might have a sort of a emotional, spiritual breakthrough. We should try
You
to
don't
write
know
a
him
song
very
together
well.
on air. Now that would be good.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's write a song.
I'd love to watch you wear that. I'd love to watch that process.
You know, these gentlemen work with you all the time. They probably don't really understand your true inner pathos. You know, you like really get to the real inner you.
This song would be so angry.
I don't
This song
know.
would be so angry.
I do heavy riffs.
I don't know what's down there. I don't know if I want to know.
I don't think I want to know either.
know
Can you do it on a day that? How about we do it on the 2nd when we're taking that day off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it November 2nd. All right.
Perfect.
So
Great.
I'm inspired after seeing you guys on stage.
There you go.
What's the longest tour you've ever been on? Like how many?
22 months.
22 months.
The Melancholy tour, when the band was riding high, we did about 22 months. You want to talk about losing your mind? 22 months.
And
of
you
tour.
had you not home in 22 months.
Pretty much. Here's the thing: when you're on tour like that and you come home for 2 weeks, I mean, you're like in a takeout container. You know what I mean? Your suitcase is just kind of open on the floor. You know, you're sitting on your couch, but it don't feel the same because you're coming off all that dopamine, adrenaline high. You know, you're playing 15,000 people a night, 5-6 nights a week. I mean, you are jacked into a different direction. And people come, hey, you know, got this telephone bill problem? You're like, what's your telephone bill? You know what I mean? You cannot even.
So it's a hotel to hotel, and then all of a sudden you're home and you're a regular guy.
Here's an only in Rockstar Land story. We toured for 20 months. We're fried. I mean, we are fried. We're done. Get the call. Hey, you want to do some more touring dates? I'm like, no, I'm done. What if we got a private plane? I go, well, that doesn't make any sense because we're just going to get on the private plane and, you know, basically spend the money that we're making flying around in the private plane, and I don't want to play any more shows. What if we make it so you'll make more money? Like the plane will help you make more money that you wouldn't do with the gig. So then we did another 2 months on the private plane.
Wow.
Man.
I can imagine having that conversation. You're like, you got your glasses out, you're trying to do the math. You're going, okay, well, more shows, Private plane.
Yeah, it was
right.
like one of those things
Numbers
where it was
add
like,
up.
$3 million more gross minus, the $600,000 for the plane. Oh, we're going to make 2.5 minus taxes. Take the management and agent commission out. Well, it's kind of tempting.
it's a
Either that goes
private
go sit home in the takeout box. I don't know. I could, you know what I mean? That's how they get you.
Wow.
Just destroy your mind.
Yeah.
Just destroy your mind.
Your mind is mush.
Did you find the touring like that extensively, like super isolating, almost like you fast forwarded 20 or you?
Oh, yeah.
It felt like I toured for 2 years, or many years, but 2 years straight. When I came back, there were highways built I hadn't even heard of. New highways, new everything. It felt like somebody hit pause on my life, and everybody else lived 2 years. And when I came back, my family, my friends, everything they were talking about, I didn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, it's hard because everybody from the outside thinks you're having the time of your life, which honestly you really are.
Yeah.
When you're playing arenas every night, you really are having the time of your life, but it does something to you where it really isolates you. And to me, the weirdest thing always is, staying in a nice hotel like the Chase, and you play the gig's ringing in your ears, a la Bob Seger. You go home, and now it's 10:30 at night, and you're watching CNN by yourself.
Yeah.
You've literally gone from 15,000 people to nobody.
Yeah.
Like that drop, and you could see why a lot of musicians and why there's been a more of a recent focus in the industry on mental health, because that weird drop is something that no one really knows how to navigate, which is where things like cocaine and
medicating
and Vicodins come in. It's like you're trying to kind of create that bridge. Like Tommy Lee once told me, he's like, I'd be in such a high from playing with the crew that why would I want to stop the party? So I just keep the party going as long as possible.
Yeah.
I read a story once. It was Phil Collins. He played both Live Aids. So Live Aid in London and
that's
Live
right,
Aid
yeah.
in
They did
Philadelphia.
the Concorde or something. Yeah.
So took the Concorde to Philly. And I think he played with Led Zeppelin in Philly.
That's right. He was playing drums. Wow, your memory's good.
Yeah. And he says after that gig, he was walking in New York City alone. And he just played 2 huge stadiums, and then he was alone. He goes, it was the most lonely feeling, because after doing 2 shows like that in a day, and then walking alone,
and then he heard his song, I Can Feel It.
And then he wrote that song that day.
See, that's where you got to get to the inner you there.
I'll find
You
it.
walking alone after the big arena gig.
Yeah.
Like, what's that feel like? You got to get to that.
All right, maybe when
you go home, you have a great radio broadcast, you go home, and now it's quiet.
I take a nap.
There's no calls.
I take a nap. That's
what I do.
do.
Write a song. Gotta write a song. Gotta get to the you inside.
All right, today I'm going to go home and write a song. Billy Corgan, NWA 74, live from the Chase tomorrow and Sunday, NWATix.com.
Actually, it's Ticketmaster.
Oh, Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Ticketmaster.com. I was plugging your website. Fine.
I think both work, but I say just go straight to Ticketmaster. I think it's easier just to go straight to the
Do the Ticketmaster thing, and you'll be back November 1st with Jane's Addiction, and we're taking the next day off.
Yeah.
I declare it.
writing a song.
And we're writing a song. We're writing a song together. Dude, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very,
Always.
very busy day
Great
today.
to talk to you.
Billy Corgan, everybody. I will take a break. Hey, will you sign our mannequin?
Yeah, sure.
We're going to start a tradition, and it starts with you, sir.
You gotta.
Yeah. Give him the Sharpie.
The Sharpie's in the left pocket.
Sign his glistening abs.
Maybe the black's probably better.
Yeah, we're gonna get the mannequin sign from now on.
That's awesome.
For every artist that comes in.
That's great.